You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABBO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at schoolofbookkeeping.com.
Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday brought to you by schoolofbookkeeping.com, which is casual conversations for serious workflows. And you may notice that Rachel's in a different room than normal. Where are you today?
This time I'm back in New York City.
What takes you there?
This time not Shopify, although I was just at a store that had a broken Shopify reader and I had to comment on it.
Ah.
I was like, what's going on with your Shopify POS system here? And we're actually in Soho where Shopify is located. And I wanted to tell them, you could actually probably go there and get a new one. But no, my kids are on breaks. We love coming here. And this is the genius of being able to be a remote QuickBooks Pro advisor, is that
Right.
I can come in from anywhere.
Exactly. So a little bit of background noise, which is totally fine, but we're glad to have you here. You mentioned something that I always find myself doing is like when somebody emails me an invoice or if they print a receipt, I always inspect it to see if it's the QuickBooks, if they're using QuickBooks in some manner, right? So
I know. I always do that too. And I always ask the restaurant, what POS system are you using? I know, it's awful.
It's a bad habit. I got myself not in trouble, but I was like, it was a point of sale. And I was like, oh, you use QuickBooks point of sale? Because I could tell the layout of the receipt. He's like, yeah, I have some sales tax trouble. Can you help me? I'm like, for a refund, maybe.
That's on you. That's your fault.
That was my fault. Okay. So today we're going to be starting on this series, I guess, of the QuickBooks mobile apps. We talked about it last week. We talked about the different apps. And so we're going to go through the QuickBooks apps and just give a high level overview of those apps. So the first one up on the list today is GoPayment. The GoPayment is an app that was designed originally for mobile in-person payment. Rachel, do you have any clients that are currently using GoPayment, or have you even looked at it?
Yeah, I have. And I even have a mobile GoPayment reader, but no, not really, because most of my people aren't really taking or issuing invoices out in the field. Most of my people are either retail or e-com related, or it's just sending invoices from QuickBooks. So I don't really have any of that situation.
Right. We love QuickBooks payments here at schoolofbookkeeping.com. As a matter of fact, we have created a course, which is hopefully a combination or a compilation of all of the information that's out there. So you just have this one-stop shop. I put the link to it in our comments here, where you can see that landing page. You can actually sign up for a free access to the QuickBooks payments course, so that you have, all that in one place. So if you have clients that are using QuickBooks payments and they want to understand what they can and what they can't do, we can certainly send them that way, and they can have complete free access to that course.
And I should add, all my clients are using QuickBooks payments for sure. I love QuickBooks payments. As a matter of fact, if my clients aren't using QuickBooks payments, I get really mad.
Because it's one of those things that, Intuit, the makers of QuickBooks, have a distinct advantage with that particular service, because they can do a lot more than any other payment processor that's available. So you end up having your billing and your bookkeeping done at the same time when you are using QuickBooks payments as well. Or collecting payments mobily is just one facet of QuickBooks payments, right? I did want to start off a little bit with a history lesson of QuickBooks payment or GoPayments, right? So way back when, probably looking about 10 years ago, the QuickBooks payments landscape was very scattered, right? There was a payment application for created basically for individual use cases, right? Mobile payments was one of them. And that's where GoPayment actually came from. There was also the Intuit Payment Network, which was emailing invoices, taking payments and things like that. And then there was taking payments inside of your QuickBooks. So it was a very scattered landscape of the way that you could take payments, right? And so what you ultimately had to do is you had to sign up for all of these individual payment accounts if you wanted to do those tasks. And Intuit in like 2015, so we're talking about 9 years ago.
What were almost 9 years ago? I don't even know.
Rachel, were you in high school then? Is that how far back we're going there?
You know what? I can't. No, I'm not even going to tell you when I graduated from high school. But no, needless to say, 2015. It feels like it was just yesterday, but I can't believe it was almost.
So into Infinite Wisdom decided, hey, let's consolidate all these features into one account. Because what you ultimately had to do is you had to sign up for an Intuit payment account if you wanted to do this. If you wanted to accept a mobile payment, you had to sign up for a GoPayment account. And then, so you end up having all of these split payment accounts, and none of them worked seamlessly together, right? So in 2015, they started this single payment account initiative, and they started migrating people into this single payment account. Any new accounts that were created after that was a single payment account. So you didn't have to go up and sign up for all of these individual things. You just had one payment account and you could do all of them. So whether you decided to use those features or not, that was entirely up to you, but you didn't have to go sign up for different accounts in order to do that. Yay. That was a good thing.
How did it actually work? Curious, because I know that when things get consolidated like that, there's always a learning curve.
Right. In most cases, when there is a scattered thing and they try to consolidate these things, it's the people that were scattered that had a particular challenge. Right. So those people that were on the other side of this sort of scattered and consolidated route was they were specifically challenged when that happened. So sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. The people that applied for a brand new account ended up having a great experience because they already had all of the great things that was associated with a single payment account. And that's usually what happens when there's a new feature and then there's other people that don't have that feature and they get migrated to that. They end up getting the short end of the stick when that happens. Now, I know you were distracted by the server there.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know what you heard or what anybody else heard, but
that's okay. I know you're an expert, Dan. So I'm sure everything you said, I'm sure
it worked great for some. It didn't work great for others because of the consolidated effort that was happening. It's when those things are when it's usually user issues and things like that. We'll see today that one of my accounts is just completely messed up, excuse me, because it was prior to this whole thing and it never got migrated over to the new.
Yeah. That's why I asked, because I know that like when they roll out new things and then combine things together, it really depends on when that client's books file was originated and all these different things. Like I've learned since my time in the ecosphere that there's issues with that.
And sometimes that is a better option, is forgetting the old and just start with a new one. Right now, when we're talking about funds and money movement and those types of things, it gets pretty tricky when you start canceling accounts and signing up for other accounts. Because sometimes there may be, hey, what's going on? This guy is trying to create like multiple payment accounts. Why is that? No. And then risk, this nebulous word of risk gets involved, and then underwriting. And if you try to talk to risk or underwriting over it Intuit, even when I worked there, it was like this nebulous vault of people that you would never be able to talk to.
This is like what I'm dealing with Venmo, by the way, right now too, is when that confusion gets involved, then account gets frozen, stuck. Good luck.
Yeah. Yes. So with GoPayment, its original intention was to be able to process payments on a mobile device. Very similar to Square, right? Square was the big player at that point, and they probably still are.
They still are. Yeah.
I have no idea what their market share is for mobile payments.
Either.
But if you go to any farmer's market or any place where there is a trade show where they're accepting payments mobilely, Square.
Yeah. Cool event too. They take a lot of payments on Square.
Even those pesky Girl Scouts are taking Square payment.
I know.
We tried to do that with our Cub Scout pack with accepting mobile payments for the popcorn sales, but it was one of those things. And that's probably where I set up my original GoPayment account, was to try to use that for the popcorn sale. But with GoPayment, I think of the history prior to this 9 years ago. Desktop was very prominent. QuickBooks Online was in a state where, the mobile app for QuickBooks Online was not PCI compliant, which is another workshop that we can talk about what the heck that means.
Yeah, we do need to do a workshop on that because I really don't know. So newsflash, don't know.
That may be next week's topic.
Yeah,
dive into that. Looks like you got some friends there behind you.
I know, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'm on the go, and it's spring break for my kids, and so we're managing a lot of things. I'm now going to take my kids to the Museum of Natural History, and I told my son we're going to stay after it closes so we can see all the people and all of the animals come alive.
Nice.
That's night at the museum.
Night at the museum reference there. Only at Ben Stiller is the guard, right?
Yeah, I watched that the other night and I realized I'd never seen it. It was the cutest movie ever.
Yeah, very good. Now, so GoPayment was the mobile choice at that point to be able to process mobile payments, and QuickBooks Desktop was still king, I guess, in the QuickBooks space. QuickBooks Online didn't have the ability to process credit cards in the mobile app itself, so that was the way to process credit cards. So
Dan, can you just tell me really quick, what is the ability now for QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks POS? Does it still exist? What can people do now in the desktop world? Because I don't live in the desktop world, so I am actually curious.
Yeah. So you can still process credit cards as long as you're using a supported version of QuickBooks. May 31st is their service discontinuation date for the oldest supported version. So 2021 is on the service discontinuation chopping block this year. So 2022 and higher, you can process credit cards. You are unable to process credit cards in QuickBooks Point of Sale. That was service discontinuation of last year of October. But as long as you're using a supported version, you can use all of these functions. They just behave differently than they do inside of QuickBooks Online, right? Now, you can use the GoPayment app with QuickBooks Desktop, but those transactions are going to come in to QuickBooks as payment transactions, not the sales transaction, right? And that's what we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about first. So let me share. I already have my
That's a big deal for us.
Yeah.
Payment transactions versus sales transactions.
Right. I brought up this Intuit article, is how to process payments in the GoPayment app, for the sole purpose of showing this section here that there are two apps. There's not two apps. There's one app, but potentially two experiences. This gets really confusing, and I'll be able to show it to you because I have one account that is on the old experience and one account that is on the new, right? So you'll be able to see. But I love this section here is learn which GoPayment app you have. And they have taken, in their infinite wisdom, they have called it green or blue. So I love the way that this is the, how do you know which you have? If your app has a green background, you have the green GoPayment app. That's duh. And then if your app has the blue background, you have the blue payment.
Which we saw this last week with yours. You have the green, you have the blue, and I have the green.
So you have both. You could potentially have both. So I'm going to share. Okay, so there's this guy here. Let's turn that off and turn this on. Oops, things got mixed around here. Okay, so this is my mobile device here, which I'm sharing, and I'm going to go into GoPayment. There's only one GoPayment app here, and once I'm finally logged in here, sign in, and which account? Here we're going to put my phone right and get signed in. And what this is going to show when you first sign in is all accounts that you have to have a connection to that has a payment account or potentially a payment account that could be added. And it's spinning like crazy. So
it's thinking.
It's signing in securely. There we go. So here's all of the accounts that I have access to. So if I go to, let's see here, got to find my, where is it? It was here. There we go. If I go into Danwith, which is my own company, right? And I log in, we will see when it finally shows up. I'm stalling for time because it's loading the company. We are going to see.
What am I going to see?
Oh, gee, now you can tell which app I had, right? Which is blue because I've got a blue background. And I tap on the hamburger button in the upper right there. You can see my company name, and I can swap between companies here. Now, if I go to, where was it? It's not here anymore. Okay. I'm going to sign out. And I'll sign back in. Same login, same app. Oh, I got to stare at my phone. Sorry. It doesn't know from my profile. I'm going to choose another company. Same app, same login. Once it finally shows up, again, it's signing in securely.
Yeah, same app, same login, because it gives you the option to toggle back and forth between different company profiles.
Now, where were they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why I was looking in the wrong one. Okay, so this guy is a client who has a payment account. I sign in. Lo and behold, it's green, right? There isn't anything different as far as the apps. Oh, now I did this. I accidentally clicked on update the software. Great.
Oh boy.
So there wasn't anything different about the login or the app that's on the device or anything, but I have two different experiences when I sign into a company that has the blue experience versus the green experience. So I love this here. If you have
pretty cool, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed that Intuit is able to facilitate that.
But it's a little confusing because if you're talking to a client and you say, "Hey, I have, I'm using the GoPayment," right? If you didn't know that little tidbit of information, you might give them instructions on the green app, but they actually have the blue experience, right? So that's one of those nuggets about the GoPayment app that is interesting. Now, in this article here that I'm sharing here, it says you can take payments on the spot. You can link a standalone payment account with QuickBooks Desktop through the Merchant Service Center. And then it says, this little note here, it says, if you link your QuickBooks payment account with QuickBooks Online, this experience isn't ideal. So the big challenge with the blue experience versus the green experience is what you can do. And I can't show you. Oh, I can cancel out here. I'm going to pop back over to the other one here. Let me stop sharing here. And there we go. This one. And then we got switch companies. Staring at the phone again. I'll go back into my original blue one because we'll see on the blue app how severely limited it is, right? And that's the advantage of wanting to be on the green experience versus the blue experience. Once we sign in securely here. Down here. Tap it, right? But the only thing that you can do in GoPayment when it's blue is take payments, right? Because that was the idea back then, right? You know, if you had your billing to handle and those types of things and things that you wanted to do inside of your QuickBooks, you would do them inside of your QuickBooks. And then if you were in front of a customer who wanted to pay you, then you could use the GoPayment app in order to collect the payment. So here, when I go to new payment, this is all I can do. I can put in an amount for charging with the card. I can put in items, but these aren't items that I've created inside of my QuickBooks, right? That poses a significant challenge when you're using the blue app with QuickBooks Online, because that payment will come in, but now the items that were sold are not the items that you have set up inside of your QuickBooks, the accounts that those are mapped to, and those types of things. You're not doing your billing and your bookkeeping. You're doing your billing. And then you got to go figure out how to map that to the payment of your bookkeeping, right? So it's annoying, right?
Yeah.
And then over here in this article, it says you can switch to the new experience within the GoPayment app once you sign in as the primary admin. So then you got to figure out who's the primary admin, how do they sign in, and how do you switch, which is not listed on this article.
No.
So
and that can be a challenging situation in itself. Yeah. The whole dealing with the whole primary admin thing.
I know what I'm doing, and it still took me an hour and a half to try to figure that out this morning, and I'm unsuccessful.
Okay, that makes me feel better, because if you know what you're doing and it takes you that long, then now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. So you're able to supposedly do this, but I couldn't figure out how to do that with that. And I am not going to call into it to try to figure that out, because it's going to be another hour and a half of my time trying to figure that out. So this is where people get when they're like, okay, I'll just start over. Right?
Yeah.
Which is likely what I might need to do if I really want to do this. But
yeah,
for me, I would just go over to the QBO app and charge a credit card if I wanted to, because I can now, right? So the GoPayment app for me is not really paramount, right? But if you are on the blue app and you want to switch to the green experience, in theory, you're supposed to be able to do that as the primary admin by signing into the app.
Oh, okay. But would you just recommend maybe like just creating a new QuickBooks Payments account?
I would. That potentially could be the solve. I would also be looking at, what is their payment rate structure and those types of things, especially if you have a client who is using the standard rates, like they signed up a while ago,
right.
Not under a Pro Advisor rate. That could definitely be an encouraging thing if they could save money at the same time by having lower processing fees by going through the Pro Advisor pricing. Yeah. So that would be more distinct determiner for me, is looking at their fee structure and then also the experience that goes along with that. Because there is a side effect of that by switching the merchant account inside of QuickBooks, right? What's open, right? Did you send out some invoices that might get paid later? That could have a negative effect on that. Right. Oh, my phone locked because we were chatting. So that is like the idea of the blue versus the green. But you can see here, all I can do here is take payments. Hold on a second. Let me put it where it can actually see. I can take payments. I can view transaction history. I can manage my items, which, as we know, are not the items that are in my QuickBooks. So I can create items in here. And then I can go into settings where I can link a card reader, purchase a card reader, set up tips and sales tax and those types of things. But again, this is completely separate from what the experience is inside of QuickBooks, whether we're talking desktop or online. So,
I don't like that.
Yeah. If you are using mobile payments, this blue app is bluey. right? You don't want
Don't
this
love it.
experience. Yeah. You'd want to
Not gonna
figure
lie.
out a way to get them into the green one.
Green. Yeah.
So I'm going to hop on over to the green one again. Let's talk a little bit about the card readers themselves. I got this. I always forget what I'm sharing and what I'm not here. There we go. So there are 3 card readers that could potentially be utilized here. I have 2 of them.
Yeah, I
So
have the middle one.
Yeah. There's this one, which is a very small Bluetooth device that allows for chip and swipe. Right. So you've got the cards now that have the chip, but you have to insert the chips in order to utilize this one. They no longer make this one available, but you could potentially see that with a client who's had an account for some time. The second
And we
one,
also have a question, Dan, from somebody who works for a really amazing company. I can't even tell you. Yeah.
all right. So Jamie has a question here. Can you add an item? Can you map it to the right income account? So basically replicating QBO, not in the Blue Act.
Right? Yeah, not in the blue. That's what we were just saying. That's why I said I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But in the green, yes.
In the green app, everything's synchronized, and we'll show that in a second. But the card reader, the second one is this, it's got a cradle, a charging cradle, and then the bigger Bluetooth. But as you can see, I should probably stop sharing. As you can see, it's actually got that tap icon. So this allows for tap for contactless payment options. But this is a more of a larger cradle. It charges in the device itself. There's USB, micro USB, so it's not even the USB-C type of stuff. But this is a potentially a card reader that can work with Go Payments. The one that they're only selling now is this one, and neither of us happen to have one of these lying around. But this is bigger. Whoops, on the wrong screen. There we go. So it does the contactless payment. It also accepts Apple Pay and Google Pay and Samsung Pay. And it will also have a nice little LED display to display the price. So when you're charging cards using this card reader, then it's all in one, right? But this is the only one that they're selling currently. It's $49. And then if you have a little tower that you put it on, I think it's another $100 or something like that. So it's $150 for that. But this is the new card reader. Now to attach that, I just signed out. Great. No.
Yeah.
We've got to pop over into a green one here. And let's stop sharing this. And we'll start sharing this. Why did you get so big there? There we go. And again, we're slowly signing in security. Drum roll.
And and Dan, just FYI, I probably have a couple minutes here.
So this should be the last part here where we can go in and I'm just going to pop into the green app or the green experience. I can go into the settings. Again, I can do the same thing. I can set up tips, sales tax in here, but this is actually utilizing and synchronizing with QuickBooks Online directly, right? So anything that you do inside of here is synchronizing between the two. If I create, so to Jamie's question before, if I create an item in here, it shows up in my QuickBooks. If I create a customer in here, it shows up in my QuickBooks. If I create a customer inside the books on the web, it shows up in here, right? So it synchronizing, as the name implies, seamlessly back and forth between the two. And then in here is where we can go into connect the card readers or order a card reader from here. You can do that directly from within inside the Go Payment app.
I do love that.
You can see that there's no other card reader available other than the newest one. $49 in here. There was a time where they were giving this stuff away, but now they pay for it. Right. So if I wanted to connect a new card reader, I would go in here. I would turn on the device, which is where's the button? I'm looking for it, and there's no button. Oh, there it is up top. I think. Nope. On the side.
Right.
And you're supposed to turn on the card reader, press it for 3 minutes. Hey, there it is. It found a new card reader. I just connected it. Now it's connected Bluetoothly. Is that a word?
It's Bluetoothly.
I do need to go to the dentist.
It is now.
Week, so, I'll ask them if that's it, if that's even a word. But that's how you would connect a Bluetooth card reader with the device. There is a unique thing with these card readers and QuickBooks. You cannot use these card readers inside of QuickBooks, the web application. You have to use a mobile device in order to connect the Bluetooth reader to charge a credit card, unless you're using desktop. If you're using desktop, you can connect these devices through a USB. You have to plug it in through the USB in order to swipe the card. Now, why would you even do this? Why would you use a card reader as opposed to just scanning the card or typing it in?
Because maybe you're somewhere and you set up a mobile pop-up store or something and you want to be able to read the card.
Yeah, but ultimately what it boils down to, why would I even want to go through this process of setting up a card reader, is because the fees are less. So when you are swiping a card, the risk is reduced, right? A card present transaction is less risk than the card not present.
Then keying it in. Oh man, I learn something new every day.
The in person, when you have a card reader and you're presenting the card, there is little to no risk that card is not there. So somebody says, yeah, just charge this card. Here's the credit card number. Who knows if that card's stolen or not?
Today's world of fraud.
That card still that is present still could be stolen, but there's less risk that that card is actually not in the right hands of the person that should be using it. So they give a discount on the fees when you use a card reader transaction. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is mobile payment users. With QuickBooks online, you can specify a Go Payment only user, and then they'll only be able to see the things that are available inside the app itself. I tried to set it up. This was part of my hour and a half this morning, but because my only account that I could use is in the Blue app, that wasn't a great experience because I just kept going around in circles, right? But if you have the green app, you go into the manage user section and choose. Actually, I think I do have green here. I'll share that real quick and then we'll drop off. Right. So when you go into add a new user, which is under the gear, manage users, go to create a new user. You now have this roll down here of take payments created by self or take payments all. So if you only want them to see the payments that they are able to process, then you would choose take payments created by self. If you want them to see all customers, all those invoices, those types of things, then you would choose take payments all. That's going to send them an invitation. They're going to accept that invitation. They download the Go Payment app, log in, voila. That's all they can do is take payments.
Love it.
Right? If they're on the Blue app, don't bother.
We're not going to bother with the Blue app at all. We only want green.
It is a very horrible experience, I think, because it's an old experience, but when that was the only thing in town, that was actually really cool. All right. So we are going to cut off here, and who knows where Rachel will be next week. Hopefully not in a Starbucks with crowded people behind you, but we will see you all next week where we'll talk about the QuickBooks Online app, maybe throw in a little PCI compliance, good measure.
Yes, I would love that.
All right. You all have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Workshop Wednesday.